I checked my bank account today. There is not $44 billion in there. Not many people have $44 billion, but certainly Elon Musk does, and he bought Twitter yesterday. We know it's very controversial. Many people have come out and said, could you have taken $44 billion? You could have literally saved lives. You could have changed so many lives. And he decided to buy Twitter. And, we're going to be having a discussion today regarding what that's going to mean moving forward when it comes to free speech. Fareed Khan joins us now, founder of Canadians United Against Hate. Hi, Fareed.
Hi, Sam.
Thanks so much for joining me. When you heard that this deal had gone through and Elon Musk had purchased Twitter, what were your thoughts?
Well, my first thought was, as you mentioned, $44 billion. Imagine the good that could have done by addressing issues of poverty or climate change or homelessness and the lives that would have changed. But instead, Elon Musk, as he has been doing in the past, decided to pursue a ego project, which is to take control of Twitter, one of the biggest social media platforms in the world. And he has said that under his ownership, there would be absolutely no restrictions on speech, which from our perspective, is a very dangerous thing, given that social media has been used to incite violence, racism, hatred against minority communities. And the biggest example of that was on January 6th last year, when a mob attacked Capitol Hill, incited by the lies that Donald Trump had posted on Twitter over weeks.
It's amazing, those short little tweets, how much they can really impact, right? I mean, I think there is something about Twitter that people gravitate to. I mean, I'm on there for news and all of those items, keeping up with the world. But there is certainly some questionable things on Twitter now. So I can't imagine what it's going to be like.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. Even right now, under the current leadership of Twitter, there are supposed to be restrictions in place and moderation of content, and yet we still see hateful content posted. I myself have filed complaints with, online on Twitter on a number of occasions, citing content that I've seen which I consider incitement to hate, and yet I get a response back, it does not violate our community standards. So that's under the current level of restrictions. Mm-hmm. We can only imagine what it would be like under Elon Musk's absolutist concept of free speech, where nothing should be moderated or restricted.
And the other big part about this is you can be anybody in social media, right? I mean, you can create a Twitter handle, and it's at Bill 97493, and say whatever you want. That's the other piece of it, right? Is there's so many people that hide behind Twitter accounts that they can kind of be other people than they are, let's say, in public.
Yeah, I mean, the anonymization of accounts is certainly a big issue, not just on Twitter, but I think on all social media platforms. I have no idea why there has not been a concerted effort by social media companies to ensure that there are actual names and people, live people behind the profiles, because the creation of fake identities allows individuals to go out and say some very vile things and post vile materials on social media, and that really damages society. I think social civility has been severely damaged in society because of the way that social media has evolved. Certainly, hate has been propagated and increased because it has been amplified on social media and posted on social media. And these are some of the things that governments need to address. In Canada, the government has been attempting to put in place legislation to regulate social media, and I believe that other Western democracies should do the same. The thing is, we have no absolute rights in our life. I mean, if you look in Canada at our own Charter of Rights and Freedoms, it says there are reasonable limits on the freedoms contained in the Charter. And I don't think that most Canadians would argue with that. But if you allow unfettered free speech or unfettered freedoms, that means that, there are some people who believe their rights supersede mine, and I think that's unacceptable.
In so many ways, you think about, the civil rights demonstrations that happened in the 60s and 70s. You think about how far we've come when it comes to racism. I'm hoping the needle has been moved. You tell me, better, that's just my own opinion. But this feels like it's taking a step back, or maybe many steps back.
Well, you're correct again. It is a step backward. There has been movement on racism. I think in some ways things are better than they were 30, 40, 50 years ago. I think there's a greater public awareness of racism in our society, systemic racism, institutional racism. I think that, I know for a fact, because polls have been done showing that Canadians, vast majority of Canadians, 60% or more, want governments to take action against racism and fight white supremacy and anti-Semitism and Islamophobia. But when you have a powerful communications tool like Twitter or like Facebook or any other of the giant social media platforms, if you allow them to be used to propagate racism, bigotry, xenophobia, anti-trans messaging, any sort of hate against the targeted or vulnerable community, then this is a huge step backwards, and I think that it not only leads to social discontent and disorder, but it also leads to a destabilization of society.
Certainly in January, we saw the so-called Freedom Convoy here in Ottawa. We know that there were flags representing hate. We know there were symbols representing hate. We know there was hateful words said at that time. We know Rolling Thunder is rolling into the Capitol. The motorcycle and vehicle convoy is arriving on Friday. They've got plans for Saturday and Sunday at Parliament Hill and in different areas of the region. When we think about Twitter and we think about events like that, do you think it will just add to those events?
Well, I mean, it already has, but I think the issue that we're looking at is to have a platform where anything goes, where it's a Wild West. Elon Musk, has criticized Twitter for its content restrictions and moderation rules. On March 26th, he posted a tweet saying that, Twitter serves as a de facto public town square. I challenge anyone to show me a town square anywhere in the world where someone can speak to millions of followers on an hourly basis every day of the year. It doesn't exist. On occasion, you get these town squares where, people speak, where you may have thousands or possibly tens of thousands of people, and that only happens on occasion. But no one anywhere in the world outside of Twitter has the ability to influence millions of people at a time. I mean, Musk has 80 million followers on Twitter. There's others who have millions of followers as well. I forget how many million Donald Trump had, and we saw, the damage that he did during his time as president. Now, you get people who are part of these protests, like the convoy protest that occupied Ottawa, this new one coming to Ottawa, and you got voices in there that are extremist voices. Now imagine if those voices were able to say whatever they want without fear of repercussions. I think we should all be very worried about the direction that Twitter is heading, as well as just the general state of social media.
Fareed, what's the answer? I mean, are you wanting us to get off Twitter? Are you wanting us to protest this? Like, what are you hoping will be, the answer to this?
Well, I think we need to have more discussions publicly like you and I are having. I think that we need governments, our national governments in Canada and other democracies, to put in place legislation that regulates social media companies to make sure that hateful content, disinformation, QAnon conspiracy theories and the like are not permitted, because allowing that to happen unfettered, as I said, I think is a destabilization factor in society. And I think it makes society angrier, and it pushes people to do things that they otherwise wouldn't do. I mean, before the advent of social media, we were worried just about the internet and the hate on the internet, but social media made it even worse. And I'm not sure that, I mean, there may be people who will go off Twitter or other social media. I know there are people who have. But unfortunately, unless social media disappears entirely, just removing yourself from it means that you allow other voices, more hateful voices, to basically have center stage. And voices like yours, voices like mine, and others like us need to make sure we are there to challenge those hateful voices on social media. But I think the main solution is for us to pressure our governments to regulate social media so that type of hate is not perpetuated and we don't have the sort of instigation and incitement to violence that we saw in the U.S. Capitol in January of last year, or that we've seen in other countries.
Always value your time, Fareed. Thanks for joining us here on City News.
Thank you for having me, Sam.
Thank you. Fareed Khan joining us, founder of Canadians United Against Hate. Certainly very concerned about Elon Musk buying Twitter and the whole idea of free speech.